Now, parents, lecturers and other stakeholders have asked that measures be put in place before the resumption. In some countries like China, Denmark, Israel and Norway, schools have resumed in the midst of this pandemic, though things are quite different. Now, how prepared are our universities ahead of this? We will touch base with our correspondents at the various universities across the country. But first, here's Education Minister announcing the guidelines for safe reopening of schools.
Ghana has set up a special team under the office of the senior minister, with the Director General of Ghana Health Service, Director General of Ghana Education Service, the Director General of the Military Logistics, the Director General, Deputy Director General of Police Welfare, the Ministry of Information, the Ministry of Local Government, to coordinate in the distribution of logistics and then ensure that schools reopening happens safely and securely. We do know that this COVID has brought into bear the need to embrace blended learning, because we are getting into a new normal, and it is imperative that the universities and all Ghana educational institutions adopt blended learning. So going forward, I do know that the University of Ghana had already taken steps in this direction.
Now let's start from the nation's capital, Accra. Student journalist with Radio Universe Manuel Kranting joins us from the University of Ghana. Manuel, is UG ready to reopen per your observation?
Daniel, a number of things indeed the University of Ghana has been doing. As you're seeing across the country, yes, in fact, the past 2 days I've seen disinfection exercises, some disinfection exercises campus-wide here at the University of Ghana, led by Zoom Lion. And again, the University of Ghana has tweaked a bit to the President's directive for the wholesale resumption of school by final year. So in the University of Ghana, because a lot of the course content for the semester was completed online, management says that we're going to continue online with the exercise for the semester. But students, because a lot of them are dotted across the country, students who don't have very good access to internet connectivity can relocate to campus. So in the University of Ghana, you're not expecting a wholesale, relocation of the final year students. Essentially, the number of students expected are to be a bit lesser. And so, I mean, there's a number of other things. In fact, the library has detailed a number of protocols. There's no face masks, no entry. There are Veronica buckets at all the various university facilities and units and so on and so forth. And so, I mean, if you're going to go according to the various guidelines that we've seen from the World Health Organization and by extension the Ministry of Health in Ghana, then we could say that the University of Ghana is taking steps to be adequately prepared for the resumption of school.
Now, you have alluded to that, but shed some more light on this for me. We've had concerns about halls of residence. What are the arrangements you've seen specific to those areas?
And so, yes, in addition to the campus-wide disinfection exercise I earlier mentioned, yesterday, in fact, all the various halls of residence were disinfected, and the rooms, the various rooms, and so on and so forth. So that exercise has been done. In the halls of residence also, you are having a no face mask, no entry policy. There are the same Veronica buckets and, mandatory use of hand sanitizers and so on and so forth in the halls of residence. I have also been told by the head of halls at the University of Ghana, Dr. Riafia Kente. He tells me that the number in the various rooms, so traditionally you have University of Ghana, a typical University of Ghana residential room to house about 4 students, but they are curtailing that number to at most 2. So you'd have 1 person to a room, or at most 2 people to a room, just to make sure that we are able to observe the social distancing protocols and so on and so forth. And I've also been told that efforts are being made to make sure that in the most unlikely event, when, for instance, there's a cut in the water supply to the campus, private water suppliers will be contracted to bring water, so that the safety and hygiene protocols are continued.
Okay, we will speak to some of the students in just a moment, Manuel. We understand you've been having a conversation with them, but you are a student. Do you feel safe with the school reopening?
Well, I think that generally what we're seeing is that, particularly because the Greater Accra region where University of Ghana is located has become the hotspot with too many of the cases recorded in Accra, lot of there's some bit of apprehension within the student circles, so that within the East Legon area, the Adenka area, which are very close, enclaves to the University of Ghana, you're recording so many cases therein. And so, in fact, for some of the students, they tell me that with all the interventions put in place by the university management, they feel, again, that their safety is in their own hands. We've been told by the university management that there's not going to be any congregation at all. So, you don't have any form of group studies, you're not having any form of, lectures and so on and so forth. And so all these things culminated into the protocol for safety on campus still leaves a bit more. So the responsibility, if you ask me, lies on students to be a bit more vigilant, and even in the face of all the protocols, make sure that they keep themselves safe. Daniel. Pardon
me, Manuel, I just want to get some clarity on what you just mentioned. Did I hear you say there will be no lectures?
Absolutely no lectures. And so, like I mentioned earlier, the University of Ghana has, completed the majority of the course content for the second semester. And so what you're left with is only examination. And so, in fact, on 3rd June, subsequent to the President Directive on 31st May, the university management released a communique that said that we're going to continue with the online, what you call e-learning, program, and finish the semester online as against the President's Directive for in-person, face-to-face lectures. And so it's only the examinations that is going to continue, online. Then people are being asked to relocate to use the university facilities.
Thank you very much, Manuel Kranting. He's a student and a journalist, telling us what his expectations and what the conditions are in the University of Ghana. In the Central Region, our correspondent, Richard Kojonyako, is standing by. Richard, what's the UCC situation?
And then other academic facilities that the students will be using are being done. And then after that, the accommodation of final year students in the House of Residence, they are, allowing 2 students in a room. So there is not going to be a point where 3 or 4 students would be in one room, as the case has been. Provision of Veronica buckets, I went round and I saw Veronica buckets at the entrance of every hall, the library, and other offices that you would enter the University of Cape Coast. So what the university management has decided to do is to put in place the temperature or to take the temperature of students before they enter the facilities. They also have designated 10 rooms in each hall. They call them special rooms that have been reserved for quarantine and management by the university's COVID-19 Rapid Response Task Force. They have also made available to staff and student hotlines to the University COVID-19 Response Rapid Response Task Force, and they have asked students and workers there to wear nose masks at the halls, the library, and academic areas. The halls would also provide 2 masks to the students each. So any student that returns to the campus, they are going to give them 2 face masks for them to wear. But unlike the University of Ghana, where we heard earlier, the University of Cape Coast is going to have revision, tutorial, and examination. So they have designated the large lecture theaters on campus. So they have a lot. They have the new examination center. They also have the large lecture theater very close to the library and other places as well. So these are the places where they are going to have the tutorials, the revision, and the exams, so that they would be able to observe the social distancing protocols.
Richard, that goes without saying that we believe we have enough capacity to take smaller class sizes in UCC.
Well, so because it is only the final years that will be on campus at the moment, that is why they have designated the large lecture theaters. Had it been the case that all the streams would be on campus, then that would have been a very difficult thing for them to do. But the students are raising concerns. Some of them felt that they should have allowed them to continue with the online lectures and then subsequently the online examination. They feel that it is going to compromise or going to expose them to the virus. But the university management, I spoke to them earlier on, and they indicated that they have put in place adequate measures, and so the students should remain calm and then go about their normal duties, observing the social distancing protocols.
Now, are we seeing any addition of health personnel to the plans? I know that usually universities are equipped, but these are not ordinary times. Right, if Richard is with me, I want to know the health personnel who have been prepared to deal with this situation. Unfortunately, Richard seems to have left us. Let's move to the Volta region. My colleague, Ivy Setoji, has been to more than one institution. Ivy, where have you been and what have you observed?
Yeah, so I have been to the UHAS, that's the University of Health and Allied Sciences. I have been to the Board Technical University, and then also the EP University College, the private university. Yeah, at the EP University College, they started with disinfection of the campus, and also at the Board Technical University, we realized that lecturers and management were at the meeting at the time before that, as we were not able to talk to management. But we were told that they are preparing to have the students back on campus. Everything is on board with the Veronica buses and all the entrance of every department with the sanitizer. Also, they are also putting all those things in place. At the UHAS, the same thing is happening. Lecture halls have been put in place so that students will come back and then continue with their studies. We talked to some students off camera, but they also are scared. They think they should have continued with their own for some time before getting to school, because now Volta region is having cases more than about 150 now, and so they are scared of what may happen to them. So for now, universities in the Volta region are preparing to have students back on campus.
Right, thank you very much, Ivy Setoji, for those updates. We've been to the Volta, Central and Greater Accra regions. Let's head back to the Central region and this time speak to a lecturer. Dr. Tufo Kwarteng works at UCC. Doc, what's your view on the preparations which have been made to prepare for reopening?
Well, good afternoon. I don't know whether I'm still talking to Roland Walker or it's a different person. Let me use this opportunity to wish all your viewers good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity you've given me to share my thoughts on the reopening of schools this afternoon. Honestly, students have been home for some time and they cannot continue staying home, so we need to come back to school. But as it stands now, we haven't actually seen any practical measures put in place yet, except that there have been promises of things that will be done when students eventually come back. University students are coming back on Monday, and the second cycle students will also follow up the following week. And in the University of Cape Coast, where I work, there have been several interventions put in place yet to be rolled out anyway. And I think that these are sufficient, at least to allay some fears that when people come back to school, they are going to catch the dreaded virus. So I think that we have to hold our peace and just wait to see what will happen, because I believe that whatever interventions that have been put in place are okay, except that for the senior high schools, because the situations are not the same across the various schools in the country, I really cannot say much. And, you know, these are boarding students who are found in a dormitory. Normally, these dormitories are large halls with several beds in them where you can have a number of the students housed. And they also go to dining halls. We are yet to know the practical measures they are putting in place to ensure that there will be social distancing in all the facilities. But I don't think that the Ministry of Education and the various universities and the relevant agencies will ask these students to come back at the risk of their own lives, because parents are concerned, everybody is concerned about how things are going to turn out.
We will deal with the senior high schools, but on the universities, students in your school, UCC, are complaining, especially when in UG, they are not going to congregate at lecture halls. Do you think that the syllabus has not been dealt with enough, that you need to bring students into classrooms before they can write examinations?
Well, that is not the issue. You see, we have to face the fact. Some of these things are panic measures that we are putting in place to ensure that whatever situation we are having is kept under check. But indeed, you can still see people going to the market. They go to places without fearing that they are going to catch the disease. So why are students agitating that they wouldn't come back to school? See, we have to face the fact and know that, you know, students, as they always say, are the only consumers who like to be cheated. So if we hear them all the time, if you don't take care, you may make a mistake thinking that their judgment is right, and at the end of the day, whatever good measures we are putting in place are really not working. You know, University of Ghana has rolled out its own program that they are continuing the online learning, and they will do assessment online. In fact, I really don't want to discount whatever management of University of Ghana has put in place. But we know in Ghana, if you are not able to put protocol measures in place to ensure that there is honesty or integrity is upheld in the conduct of exams, I wonder how valid the exams that will be written online will be. So
balanced against the students risking their lives. Balanced against their risking their lives.
My brother, we don't have to assume that as soon as the students get on campus, they are going to contract the disease. I believe that wherever they find themselves, they interact with people, yet they are sure that they are not going to catch the disease.
On that point, and I'm coming in because you made that point earlier, Doc, pardon me. On that point of students themselves taking responsibility for themselves and putting themselves at risk, isn't it different from when they are gathered at the school, where the school is responsible for them? Shouldn't the school be taking extra measures to ensure that no one is at risk?
Well, I think I'm just taking my personal views here, and I'm not the spokesperson for the University of Cape Coast. All I'm trying to say is that there are measures put in place, so we have to look at the adequacy of the measures put in place by the university before probably we jump into conclusion that when they come, they risk their lives. As I said, there are protocols the university has put in place, and I think we have to look at the sufficiency of the protocols before we end up concluding that maybe they come at the risk of their own life.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sufo Kwarteng, for joining us this afternoon. He's a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Let's move to the Ashanti region, and contact tracers in Kumasi are on strike. The group says this action has become necessary following government's decision to slash a 150 Ghana cedi daily stipend to 70 Ghana cedis. Let's speak to Dr. Augustina Silverkin, a virologist with the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research, KCCR. Doctor, thanks for joining us. Tell us about the situation. If Dr. Silverkin is with us, thanks for joining us. Explain to us the rationale behind the situation.
Yes, Daniel, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners and viewers. This is quite worrying. It's quite worrying, especially during this time where we see sharp increases, or we see more positive cases being reported. I don't think this is the best of times you may want to lose any of your soldiers on a battlefield. I honestly don't know why this is happening, but I'm sure their sentiments will be channeled to the right institutions or offices, and hopefully their demands or the promises made them will be honored. Because, like I said, this is not the best of times to lose any of your soldiers, be it contact tracers, be it frontliners, and be it citizens, because we all have serious and important roles we have to be playing and around this time. So I am worried. I don't want to go into the statistics or the numbers of, for example, positive or confirmed cases between 2nd of June and now. And if we even want to zero into the Ashanti region, then I think we may be in for some more challenging times. So I'm hopeful that their issues will be addressed so that they will go back to work. Because for this particular virus, you always need to run ahead of the virus. You don't want to slack, because the very moment you slack, then the virus will override you and overtake you. And especially now that we are even seeing a lot of confirmed cases in the routine surveillance or the hospital cases. Because even for those who go to the hospitals, they also have contact we need to trace. So if our contact tracers are now laying their tools down, then I don't think this is a very, very good
and Doc, I can tell from your voice and the way you are relaying the information that this is indeed a serious matter. It's a matter of concern. For those viewers who may not fully understand how important a contact tracer is, tell us from your perspective, what do they do and why do we need them to be on the field every single day?
Yes, so like the WHO indicates, there are 4 levels of transmission of this particular virus. There's the situation where you have no cases. There's a situation where you have sporadic cases, so one positive case here, one positive case there. Then there's the situation where you have cluster of cases. That's the 3rd level. Now then, 4th and highest level is the community transmission of cases. So people live in the communities, they may not have come into contact with any positive case or any confirmed case, but you test them and they are positive. Now, the important thing is that this is a typical viral infection, so that in terms of how it is transmitted, it is via droplets.
Right.
So if somebody tests positive, the critical thing and the important thing you have to do is to contact and do something known as contact tracing. So you want to trace people who have come into contact with that positive.
So you can tell if these other people have also tested positive.
Exactly.
Right.
So typically what you do is to do this either a primary, to look out for a primary contact or a secondary contact. So their role is so very critical.
Wow.
So that for all the 10,856 confirmed cases, we need to trace their contacts. Some of them may, depending on what they do, they may have come into contact with several people. So that if our contact tracers decide to declare a strike, then it means that we may be doomed. Because we definitely need them to...
Hello, Dr. Silverken.
Yes.
Right. Unfortunately, it seems like we lost Dr. Augustina Silverken. She's a virologist with the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research, but she painted a very grim picture of what it means when contact tracers go on strike. On that note, let's take a look at the latest numbers when it comes to positive infections for COVID-19. You see on your screen there, 10,856 cases now. Just about earlier this week, we hadn't crossed 10,000. Now we are almost at 11,000. It is indeed a worrying statistic we see there. Active cases, 6,887. That is the number you get when you subtract the number of recoveries you have there, 3,921 from the total confirmed cases. Number of deaths still stand at 48, and you see there the geographic spread of cases. To a very key story away from the health sector, and food producers in the Afram Plains area are afraid challenges they have experienced as a result of the COVID-19 restrictions would cause food shortages this year. The Afram Plains enclave is one of Ghana's main food growing areas, popular for the cultivation of staples like maize. However, some of the farmers say the uncertainty around when the virus would go away forced them to plant less than half of food they would normally plant. Here's a report by Justice Bedu.
Coronavirus may not be leading the headlines as it used to, but its negative impact linger on. This is Eche Amanfrom in the Afram Plains. The small village is yet to record any case of the virus, and yet farmers like Ojasi Amlade are already seeing the impact on their farming job.
We lost everything. We have to give what we've already planted away at almost nothing.
Like many of his colleagues here, he planted less than half of the maize he would usually plant because he is not sure if he would be able to sell the produce.
The sickness has destroyed a lot. If we take our produce to the market, the people who come to buy are even scared. We suffer to even get a car. It has become a problem that we don't even have money to buy food. Now we suffer to get a fertilizer, and we can't even buy it. It's a problem. How can we plant?
In the Afram Plains, two jobs are the mainstay of the people. Farming aside, fishing employs almost the remaining chunk. When government announced relief packages for people hit by COVID-19 restrictions, farmers were not included. So too were fishermen. And yet, these two make up for nearly half of the country's workforce.
Because of the disease, those who come and buy, they were not coming in their numbers. Just only few people will come, and they feel the price that they like, they will give it to you. If you take the thing to market and the customers are determining the price for you, what will you do?
No one is certain yet when and how COVID-19 would go. But for the farmers and fishermen of Eche Amanfrom, there's even more uncertainty on what it would leave for their source of livelihood. Justice Beidou, JoyNews, Eche Amanfrom in the Afram Plains.
It's all live on Joy News today. Coming up in business, hotels project business to pick up as few resume operations. Daryl Kwao has the details after this.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Some players in the hospitality industry in Kumasi are expecting business to peak from September. Despite government relaxing some restrictions, many of the hotels that opened after the easing of restrictions say they're experiencing very low patronage a week into business. Majority of the hotels are still closed. My colleague Prince Apia has been speaking to some stakeholders who project the industry could begin seeing a boost later this year.
The hospitality industry in Kumasi has been one of the hardest hit in the face of COVID-19. A week after government relaxed the restrictions, hotels like Micklin, Sunset, Royal Lameta have opened for business in Kumasi. But others, including Golden Tulip Kumasi City, are still closed. So after a week since government relaxed the restrictions on social gathering, which meant that hotels could hold workshops and conferences. Here in Ashanti regions, the hotels are still struggling to get people to patronize their services. We've been speaking to Benny Sofair, who is operations manager for Micklin Hotel in Kumasi.
Yes, we're expecting people to come in, but it seems still, even though the restrictions have been relaxed, but still it's not forthcoming. Yeah, for now we have a few guests in here. We have about 10 guests for now, but you know we have 60 rooms, and if you have 10 guests, you're looking at utilities, you're looking at so many things to do, paying your staff and all that. We are hoping that things will pick up. And this is not us. it's a conference hotel, and we are always running programs, but now the conferences are not forthcoming as we expect. We are not running conferences at all. The whole week there's no conference. In a week we could have, I can say we run about 15, 20 conferences, both residential and non-residential. Okay, aside the parties and all that, yes, but it's so you can see how the impact this.
Operators of some of these hotels say they have had to settle their administrative and fixed costs, though they are struggling with patronage.
But when it comes to detergents, you know, we have to, it's something that we are doing consistently. I mean, you know, washing of hands, and you need your liquid, your soap, you need your sanitizers, you need your tissue. These are things we buy frequently, irrespective of the number of people you have.
Some of them are, however, projecting business could pick up from September. Prince Apia reporting.
Now, government is setting up over 200 e-commerce trading sites in rural communities to do business online. This is part of initiatives to minimize human interaction through business transactions and operations. Minister for Communications, Esther Usu-Ekufo, said to make this a success, the ministry is rolling out a project to renovate and equip all community ICT centers in the country.
Though the emergence of online services and business operations are becoming the trend in the country, many communities still lack access to internet and digital infrastructure to promote their use. The project by the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication is to ensure that all existing ICT centers in the country become functional, as well as establishing new ones. Minister for Communications, Esther Usu-Ekufo, believes that this will help to promote businesses online and bridge the digital gap.
For what the digital infrastructure, which will enable our citizens to engage, live and thrive in the post-COVID world. It's important, and that is why we're actively reactivating all these centers, equipping them, providing some where none exist, and working to provide the backbone infrastructure which will power all these systems.
Municipal Chief Executive for Ghana West, Clement Wilkinson, is confident that the initiative will help the communities access many government initiatives online.
We have this type of ICT center in the municipality. Where we are now is here, and Kwashikuma, then the municipal assembly itself, we have one day, so that makes 3, and we are going to use it. I know when you come to this area, people thought it's a village, but let me tell you for the fact, they are already using it.
The communities benefiting from the initiative include Manhiam, Kwashikuma, and Danso.
All right, we'll have more business news on the marketplace at the top of the hour. My name is Daryl Kwao. The news continues after this break.
Good afternoon, I'm Kadi, and you're welcome to the Showbiz segment right here on JoyNews today. Now to my very first story. Musician Wendy Shea has revealed that radio presenter Nana Romeo has no proof that she's dating her manager Bullet, as alleged earlier this week. Now on Tuesday, Wendy Shea walked out of an interview on Okra FM after she was asked continuously about whether she was having an affair with her label boss Bullet of Rough Town Records. Now in an interview with Andy Dusty on Daybreak Hits this morning, Wendy Shea said Nana Romeo can't have proof because there's nothing of the sort.
On further and entertain that thing, you know, whatever was going on there.
Do you intend furthering the issue in court?
Oh no, I you know, it's a big industry, and we are all one people, and I mean, we are right now. What is important to us is the Ghana music industry, and the industry we have to love ourselves. And so I feel like when something like this happens, we need each other. We need each other. So we learn from it, and then we just move
But what
on.
if truly he has proof and he releases it?
I mean, you cannot just release it. Somebody's whatever.
Because
and
people are bashing him too.
No. I don't even, you know, whatever he has, you know, Midday, I don't believe he has anything. I don't even believe, because there is nothing like that. Right. There is nothing like that of a sort. And whatever he has meaning, say Nyampa, he doesn't have anything. Because Uncle when him said the way I went the shade and I say me trending and I say me hot no Uncle will be Uncle will release it dada.
Okay. Well, you have a new song out.
Right, Emergency.
And it features Bosom Piano. Why did you choose him though?
Because I like his style. His style is very unique. Edem.
Edem, I like that. Edem. Folks, let's listen to Nice video. I had the chance to watch it.
Thank you.